Hi, it's Stuart Sutton at 1 Acre Plus Homes. I'm going to share one of the biggest secrets you'll never hear from anybody else. And then I'm going to give you some of the other secrets that, well, you'll probably not hear those from anyone else either. So if you'd like to hear a series of secrets that you won't hear from anybody else, I hope you'll stick with me because I'm going to jump right in. Thanks for joining me. We're going to share some things with you today that you probably have never heard before unless you've watched some of my videos. The first one I'm going to jump right into is what I think is the single most important action you can take. You're not going to hear it from other agents, well, unless other agents watch my videos and then share that. And I guess that's possible, but I derive this from my experience in testing and actually calculating the listings that I placed on the market, when and how they sold. That's really what marketers do. They test and improve, and that's how I run my business. So this action, it's going to seem really simple, but it's not widely known. And again, we test it, we've proven it, and it works. And that single action is to start early. You see, when you start early, you can simply accomplish more impactful things with getting your home prepared than you can if you have a short amount of time, a week or two or three. So starting early can mean a lot of money. I'm going to show you that here in a few minutes. But I wanted to start with that to let you know that starting early is something you might want to consider. So I actually, right now, today, I have homes listed that aren't going to market for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, because those sellers are in the process of following a process that we help them with. I hope that makes sense. Let's jump in though. The new level of real estate service that we provide truly is a new level. It's something that most sellers haven't experienced. Now, I'm not saying there aren't other agents out there that don't provide great service, because there are. As a matter of fact, we're very blessed in a market where there's some really top-notch real estate professionals. But the new level of service that we provide is somewhat unique. I'll explain as we go. Bottom line is that when you get ready to put your home in the market, a lot of times there's pressure to get your home ready and get it for sale. And when you start early, you have time to follow a process that you just simply cannot accomplish if you don't start early. So we highly recommend that if at all possible. Now, I might be the only agent who admits this, but real estate agents kind of do the same things for the most part. I mean, we always adapt and change and copy and do what each others do. When everyone was putting flyers up, everybody else put flyers. When everybody was holding open houses, everybody else holds open houses. And that seems to be a trend that has come back, even though it still shows to be very, very ineffective in actually getting homes sold. But I won't go down that path. So here's what's going to happen. If you call a real estate agent about listing your home, you're going to see the following things. First of all, they should provide you a market analysis. They might call it a CMA, evaluation, whatever. Then they're going to review your home with you, and then they'll sit down and share their marketing plan. So let's talk about each of those real quick and how we provide a new level of service under each of those scenarios. Now, in each of these situations, I really encourage you to ask the question, what makes you different? Why should I hire you to list my home on an acre or more? Let's start with the valuation. The agent typically is going to prepare a market analysis to determine what your home is worth. Some agents will do that before they come meet with you. Well, my question is how? How can an agent prepare a valuation before they've ever seen your home? It's always boggled my mind. Literally last week I sat down with a seller, and they said another agent had met with them, had never seen their home, and came in with a price. I don't ever come with a preconceived notion of value. The reason I don't is because homes on an acre or more are unique. Now, can you do that in a cookie cutter neighborhood? Maybe, but I don't even do that. And the reason I don't is because each home is unique. Each home has attributes. Each home has disadvantages. It could have to do with maintenance. It could have to do with location. There are just a lot of variables. So especially in the small acreage market, there are more variables than in subdivisions. So I don't ever come with a preconceived notion of value. I also do not use price per square foot. If you hear an agent talking about price per square foot with your home on an acre or more, that's a big red flag, huge. You can't use price per square foot. Think about it. You've got a home on 1.2 acres, about the same size as another house that's on 2.3 acres. Well, what does square footage have to do with the valuation? it's really not an effective way to value a home. Even if the acreage is the same, it's not an effective way to value a home. I don't even use it with cookie cutter subdivision homes. And if we meet, I'll explain to you exactly what I'm talking about. I don't use data-driven methods. So the agent that came to visit with the seller that I told you about, that I met with last week, was basically using a data-driven method. They couldn't use any personal experience to see the house, walk through the house, make adjustments. They couldn't do that. It was pure data. And data doesn't make sense. It can make sense. It's logical, but it's not effective. We'll give you an example. Has the tax assessor ever come out and knocked on your door and said, may I look through your home so that we can do a proper valuation for tax purposes? Of course they hadn't. Has anyone from Zillow wandered on by and said, hey dude, I'm from Zillow, let me take a look at your house? Of course not. Those are purely data driven, and that's why the inaccuracy is so high in those types of valuations. What I do use is 3 specific methods designed for homes like yours on an acre or more. And I'll share those with you if and when we're able to meet. But when we look at it from 3 valid perspectives, we come up with a pretty good indication of what your home is going to sell for. And that's why our track record is so strong in the pricing arena. In addition to the home evaluation, we actually know the 1 acre plus market. And there are so many factors that affect what's going to happen with the pricing of your home. The success ratio, most agents aren't aware of what the success ratio is, but we take that into consideration as we're considering where we might price the home. The hotness ratio is another factor that plays a big role. The turnover ratio is another factor. Average days on market, average list to sell. Let me explain what these are before I muddle things up to you. I'm going to start at the bottom. The average list to sell ratio. That's what a buyer's willing to pay compared to your asking price. Now let me share this with you. In different markets, there are different average list to sell ratios. So you can't just depend on one number and say, well, we want to get this. We're not willing to come off any more than this, or we want to get this close. Bottom line is it could depend on the market. So that's why we're going to go back and look at average days on market. If the average days on market are a few days, like in the frenzied market of 21 and 22, that's a different story than in a typical market like 2018 and 2019. The hotness ratio is the closest, most recent picture of what your market is doing. And that is something we want to use to determine where your price is best going to fit in a range. Because pricing isn't a science. I can't tell you your house is worth $987,412.06. It's not that much of a science. The success ratio is going to tell us how successful your market is in getting listed homes to closing. I've been in markets where there was an 8% success ratio. You heard me, 8, not 80, 8. So of the homes that were in the market, only 8% closed. I've been in markets like that. I've also been in markets where 100% of the homes that were in the market went to closing. But we take those into consideration and we look at the information that the market is giving us. And I'll give you a quick example. You could have a valuation come in with the value range showing your home from $950,000 to $1 million. Now, there are certain markets where you might price that house at $1.1 million. Certain markets, if the valuation range was $950,000 to $1 million, we might price it at $900,000 or anywhere in between. I hope this makes sense. Based on where the market is and what the information is and what the trends are, even the valuation you're seeing may not be where you price the house. Now, the order isn't that important, but in addition to the pricing conversation, you'll have a preparation conversation. Agent will preview your home, maybe make some suggestions about, maybe make some suggestions about how you might prepare it for sale. Our question, once again, comes to how can you prepare a home properly in a very short amount of time? That's why we recommend to start early. And again, statistics prove that out. But we do approach this a little differently. Even if you need it on the market quickly, which we're more likely to be able to accomplish because of our proven and very precise process. So think about this. What makes you different from other real estate agents? Why should I choose you to list my home on an acre or more? That's another time that you want to consider this when it comes to pricing, when it comes to preparing, and I'll probably mention it 1 or 2 more times. But we actually pay you to get your home ready to sell for maximum value. You see, every home is different. Every seller's different. We don't have this rote process, step by step by step. You have to do these things. No, your home is unique. We're going to design the process around you and your home and what maximizes your profits at closing. Here's a couple of examples, true examples, by the way, and recent. These sellers were paid to have their carpet stretched and clean. It was just the upstairs, but it was a big house, so there was a lot of carpet up there. We also paid them to have the windows clean, have the house clean. The stager came in and prepared everything, and yes, that was taken care of. And a home inspection was done. I think they fixed a fogged window. The home was in great condition. A few other minor things, but that was the main thing. Here's another example. The sellers were paid to add mulch to the landscaping, made it pop. They had the front door painted. We often do that. We paint or refinish front doors because it's one of the first impressions along with the landscape. The patio in the back was huge, but it was really looking aged, and it was power washed and it looked brand new and was very impressive. And of course, had the home inspection and the stager prepared as well. And yes, we do pay you to do these things. I'll explain in detail if and when we meet, but the process is very, very effective and maximizes what you're going to make at closing. Again, every home is different. You have different needs. Your home has different needs. And we'll take that in consideration as we design a service process specifically for you and your home. I started guiding my sellers through this process many years ago, even before staging was popular. And the result is simply this. The homes that I sell on an acre or more make about $11,461 more than homes sold by typical agents. And they sold 2 months faster. Now, when that stat was done, the average time in the market for homes an acre or more was a little over 100 days. So 2 months is a pretty big deal. Now, just so you know, in the frenzied market, the dramatically incredible, super hot market we had, our listing sold much faster than typical, even though it was only taking a few days on the average. Ours sold faster, and they sold for considerably more. As a matter of fact, it eclipsed that 11,000 mark dramatically, way above that. Be happy to share that with you if we get together as well. So once I started my guiding my sellers through this and we saw how effective it was, we actually just created a process that helped our sellers accomplish this. And that's why so many sellers list with us early and go through the process with us. Here are some other ways we place your home under warranty so that you don't have to worry about unexpected expenses while your home is listed. The inspection, if you ever have if you ever have an agent tell you shouldn't have an inspection, another big red flag. Measure twice, cut once. If there's an issue, it's better to know about it now so you can take care of it. The two biggest reasons contracts don't reach closing are mortgages and inspections. And you can alleviate that inspection one by heading it off and having an inspection ahead of time. Now, some agents will say, well, you have to disclose that. Well, yeah, you do, and you want to. But you can also resolve things. You don't have to say, hey, I used to have bad ductwork, but now I don't. You don't have to disclose that. Now, water and fire and things like that, yes, there are certain things you have to and want to disclose. But you can take care of things at far less cost. For example, if you're capable of changing out washers in a faucet so it doesn't leak, you don't have to pay a plumber to come out and do that. That saves a lot of money. So when the buyer's inspector comes out, there won't be a leak. It'll be taken care of. Hope this is making sense. Paint rooms if needed, professionally clean windows, professionally clean the house, improve the landscape. These are all things that can be done. And again, every house is different. But let's go back to the inspection process. Do that, resolve those issues, and when the buyer's inspector comes along, they're much more confident in your home. The purpose of all this, very simply, is to make you more money. I do have some people ask me, well, doesn't that make you more money too? Well, the answer to that is no, it does not. And I'll explain that to you when we get together as well. Next, the agent's going to sit with you and share their marketing plan. Let me hit this item real quick. Some agents won't really have a plan. They just have a rote process they follow. They put your home in the multiple listing service. That defaults it to other real estate portals. And one big pet peeve of mine is agents who say, hey, we're going to put you on 78 different places or 112. Most agents put it on the multiple listing. It defaults to all the same places. Some pay a service. Many pay a service. Defaults it to all the same places. The big ones are the ones that really matter. And I'll explain in a minute some of the things we do that go well beyond this. Now, some agents, as I said, won't have a plan. Some will have a plan, but they really just verbalize it. They kind of tell you what they're going to do. If they can't show you examples, that's a red flag. Agents with a plan will pretty much follow the process they do on every other listing, their duplexes, their houses and subdivisions, condos, whatever the case is. They don't have a plan designed specifically for your house on an acre or more. And again, that's a big red flag. And that does bring us back to that question. What makes you different from other real estate agents? Why should I choose you to list my home on an acre or more? So the target market approach is something we feel very strongly about. We are looking for buyers who want a home like yours. And we've been searching for those buyers since 2007. That's when we started 1 Acre Plus Homes and started focusing on buyers who want a home on an acre or more. We have extensive web content dedicated to each listing, not just bullet points, not just Zillow information or Realtor.com information or MLS information. It goes way beyond that. Most agents will do a package of pictures, virtual tour. We have multiple videos. I just looked at one of mine that has 7. Video tours with music, voiceover videos, interactive walking tours. That one's pretty amazing too. A lot of people think, well, everyone does that now. Well, they don't. You'd be shocked at how few agents do it because it's not cheap. Specific attribute videos will show off your pool, your workshop, your incredible master bath, the land, the acreage, whatever the case is. The bottom line is that we do a lot of exposure and promoting that you're just not going to see from a typical scenario. And that includes aerials, photos, and videos. Now, the number one reason buyers want a home on an acre or more is privacy. The only way they can see what kind of privacy your home offers is from the air. And that's why we do the aerials. We also target online ads to buyers who want what you have. And we'll explain that in more detail if and when you'd like to get together. Some of the unique web placements we have are web pages created just for your home. For example, if your home is located at 1710 Anderson, you're going to be on the internet at 1710anderson.com. We drive traffic to that with all kinds of information. We don't think a buyer can have too much information. They'll see your survey, they'll see your improvements, they'll see the list of all the cool things you've done. You can't give a buyer too much information. When they come to one of our listings, they're prepared for what they're going to see. They're very highly qualified. In addition, we have lots and lots of websites dedicated only to homes on an acre or more. And again, you will not see that with any other real estate agent. Which brings back to that question, what makes you different from other agents? Why should I choose you to list my home on an acre or more? And that's a question that should be asked regarding each of those different areas of information: pricing, preparation, presentation, and promotion. I hope this is making sense. Let's follow one more path, and that's the transaction, because there are actually variables in negotiating a home on an acre or more, a contract for a home on an acre or more, that don't exist with typical subdivision homes. Many times I've had to guide agents on the other side through the process because they're just not familiar with the different variables that affect a transaction for a home on small acreage. The new level of real estate service encompasses many areas of your transaction. That includes the pricing, that includes the preparation, that includes the presentation and promotion, and the transaction itself. A lot of people really like the videos that we do. Here's one on pricing a home on an acre or more and the considerations you should take into place. This is very informative. I get great compliments on it. Hope you're able to watch it. Hope to see you there.